Alright, so it's 4 months later. Not really just getting a chance to finally record, but being that to have enough latitude between my work to get this recorded and talk about what I've been doing in track for the last 4 months. So let's get into it. Alright, so starting off January, we had the Race for Hope 5K in Hope Gardens. It was used to be a large event, but it's pretty small at this point. So I won that. It's over a fairly hilly course, so I wasn't really pushing for time, but at the end there was a little confusion because for it was organized, they didn't really have a set place of where you turn around, so it was kind of just guessing and spelling. So there's some confusion at the end, but still able to win and get prize for that in fairly normal time, around 17 or so for the hills and all that. So that was decent moving into the rest of January. I was training at a track on Mondays and Fridays due to the schoolwork on other days conflicting because classes were at 8, so I couldn't really go train and go to class without to be and all of those things. So it's really Monday and Friday I go in the mornings, and then other days I'll go sometime in the day or in the afternoon in order to get the work in. So the training Mr. Coleman was about the same as normal. You have the 400s, you have the 200s, and we have the 800 sometimes, and drills. So it wasn't out of the ordinary really, to what he expected. But then for by myself, I was trying to implement two main exercises. So I'll do a 6,000 meter run, but for the first 4,000 meter, I tried to run at a 17-15 pace. So fairly comfortable, fairly slow. And then for the last 2,000 meters, I tried to drop out all the way down to a 15-minute pace. So that's much faster per lap, just to improve my ability to change speed during the race. That's one of the biggest challenges I normally have in running. So I'm trying to work on that. So after that point, I hadn't gotten it in a race as yet. But getting close at some stages in terms of the last 2,000 meters, it's such a large increase in pace that I'm not always ready for what I think that pace is versus what actually needs to be running. So there's some work to do there, but I think I'm making some good progress in that type of training. But then the other main thing I do is either 3 2,000 meter runs or 2 3,000 meter runs. So I'm trying to get around a 15-minute pace. So for the 2,000 meters, I try to go and finish that in 6 minutes. And then for 3,000 meters, try to finish in 9 minutes. So for 2,000 meters, right now, I'm about 5 seconds off at that point in January. So I was around 5 seconds off from that pace. And then for the 3,000 meters, around 15 seconds off from the pace. So there's some work to do, but it's fairly close enough that I feel confident that if I put enough effort into that, I can eventually find the pace to get that consistently down. And then adding on to those track runs, I also continue doing runs on the road either Saturday or Wednesday or some other time during the week. So I would be running between 10 and 15 kilometers and just increase the mileage and keep sure that breathing is okay and all those things. So it's very easy. I'm just running it because there's no really time limit I'm looking forward to. And then I'll also be doing something different on the field. So it's around, given the track layout, it's 2 separate fields. And if I go around both around 800 meters, so there I've been trying to implement 7K runs, but between each 800 meter lap, I would be doing either push-ups, pull-ups, either with the front grip or the back grip, or you have step-ups, and you have monkey swings and all those things. So it's been difficult. I'm not built very strong in the arms. Also learned that I've been doing pull-ups in the wrong way this for a long time, that I'm not going all the way down before extending again. So that's something that really decreased how many I'm able to do comfortably, because before I could do 20, 30 fairly easily for the pull-ups, but now it's so difficult to 10 once you go all the way down. So that was something I was working on, just to increase my arm strength, shoulder strength, so I can move during the race as well. So I think I've seen some decent results, but need to put in some more work with that in general, just to get that strength all the way where I need it to be. Alright, so in February, the first main thing apart from just the training continuing was the Jamaica track meet. So it was on a grass field out in St. Catherine, so out in Clarendon actually. So able to get there, but from the day before I started feeling a bit sick, and on the day I was having a fever and I was coughing somewhat. So even though I was able to win the race, it was really uncomfortable for the entire thing. I ran like 17:23 in the race. I was slowing on a lot towards the end, those kind of things. So I was starting to feel the effects of just the fever really. That's what taking out the energy out of it. So that was disappointing that I was able to get a good read of where I was athletically. And then afterwards, like a week later, was the Sigma run again. So last year I was able to win, though not many people were there. This year I was still recovering a bit from the illness, but I was still able to place third overall. Time was even faster than last year actually, so that's a good sign that I'm improving on my running, even though I wasn't able to keep pace in the last 2 kilometers, just because I didn't have the energy running. But overall, I was satisfied with my Sigma performance in general, because the time was better, and even though I was sick, I was able to keep a decent pace for the start, and then coming towards the end, even though I lost pace a bit. Alright, and there should have been another track meet that I could have gone to, was the Gibson Relays. Now, I normally, because there's not many events for long distance in Jamaica on track, I normally look for 5,000 meters and 1,500 meters that I can do. But that Gibson Relay is actually a mile run, but I didn't see that in the schedule initially. And then when I went to sign up, it said it was already closed. Apparently it wasn't closed and people could have signed up later, but I couldn't have known that, so I was able to miss out on that. But I'm just looking at the times and doing my own practice runs on the UE track. I think I would have placed around second or third in a time of around 4:30 or so, depending on how quickly I was able to catch on to the pace and keep that pace. So I think around 4:30 was where I would have been if I went all out in that race, but unfortunately I missed it. It's not too big a deal because I don't run the mile. It's faster than what I normally do, so just going to miss out on it, but still have other races I could have done. Not really races, but just running on the UE track to gauge myself. Yeah, so now going into end February into March, there was actually a sports day at UE. So I didn't expect a UE sports day. It is not organized at all. There was no schedule until the day of. There was very little in terms of ensuring who could run where and all those things. So I put in some effort just to ensure that, hey, don't worry, I'll do the 5,000, 1,500 and 800 meters and work with that. So I was able to do those races. They were like 2 hours apart, each of them. So the 800 meters had the heats and then the finals. So I was able to win all the races. 5,000 was around 16:30 on the track. I didn't push towards the end because I knew I had the other races to do, but getting at 16:30 without pushing is a good sign. And then 1,500 was around 4:25 or so, 4:24 I think, which is good because I also had 800 right before and right after, and there was no competition, so it's a good sign overall. And for the 800, that's closest to where the other people could have caught up, but I was still some ways in front. Time was like 2:10, 2:11 I think I got. So slower than what a peak was in 800 long ago, but I don't train for 800, so it's good to see that I could have kept that higher speed for the 800 meters in case I would ever need to start building on that just to improve my own time. And at the sort I also did the first leg of the 4x4, even though I trying to tell it not that fast at the 400, for the time around 56. So overall the Hall came second, but I don't know how to get it at 400. It's something I don't really run, don't really train for, so it was just really for fun at 400, 4x4 actually. And of course, winning those events, that's all this time there was a lot of attention, a lot of talking and all of those things about how it is and all those things. So you sometimes get used to the kind of reaction when you're doing long distance events, but just something that always happens when you're having distance events when the competition isn't really training for it. Alright, so in March itself, the main 5k on the road was the EU 5k taking place downtown. So it's a fairly flat course, and I was hoping that I could have done around a 15:30 run because it's the last road race before intercollegiate championships on the track. So I think I could have gotten around 15:30 going into it. But on the day, it was 3 of us out in front and myself doing Garfield Gordon. So I wasn't too sure of where I should increase the pace of all of those things. So that's a consistent issue that I always need to work on, trying to trust myself to increase the pace even when it feels a bit slow. So I was keeping pace with them all the way up till the last 400 meters. And then there's a sprint to the end with me and Garfield Gordon. So it was right on the line. I came second. It was like same time and all those things, just right on the line, and actually started after him. So even chip time would have won, but he used the gun time for the results. So second officially overall, around 16:07, and then the chip time was 16:04. So it's pretty good overall. It's not spectacular, and I always think that if I had increased the pace when I felt I should have, then I could have gotten to the 15:40 range. Maybe the 15:30 I was hoping, but 15:40 was definitely possible, I feel. So I know was decent overall, and just to prove to myself that I could have done a 15 on the road. The Saturday after, I went to the Huey track to run, try by myself, no water break and all those things. Yeah, so I was able to run around at 16:02 on that track. So it's just a good sign that I am improving and that I can get under 16 if I have the right pace here and help myself to do so. Yeah, and past March, I was actually only training with Coach Coleman in the mornings on the Fridays due to a change in schedule with the last semester of classes, causing that the Monday as well was at 8 o'clock I had a class. So only really Friday training. The rest of the days I was working by myself to improve it. And then I was trying to improve myself for the intercall. But going into intercall, I had to collect the gears, all those things. So going there, of course, it's the long hour-and-a-half wait to get it even though nobody is there. And then you receive all these additional that you don't need. Actually got 2 different shoes, and then 2 more of the same spikes as last year. So I don't know what they're going to do with 3 spikes. Probably going to give that back to my Campion college coach. And the shoes I just wear around. I don't know what to do with it otherwise. And then all the gears are same as last year, but just what I'm going to do with 2 sets of running vests and 3 sets of shirts and all those things. So it's a bit frustrating that I'm getting all this which I don't need, but still, thank you for receiving it, don't have to pay for it, so whatever you can take. So for Intercall itself, it's a small meet despite the grand name. It's nowhere as big as their high school track meets, and actually there is no competition really for the 5,000 meters or 1,500 meters, and they're actually only an hour apart. So learning of this, even though I felt I could have gone faster, I know I could have gone faster, I decided to keep it slow and steady for the 5,000 meters. Finished a time of 17:01 and won comfortably, and then just a 45-minute rest to go back for the 1,500 meters, which I also won around 4:30 or so, actually 4:24 or so, and then it was a rest until the medley, which was the 800 meter leg I did. During that I was able to close the gap from third to first in the last 300 meters. I thought that actually maybe for 800 with Intercall, others would have been far ahead of me, and in the actual race for the 800 I didn't compete in. There are some people that are running sub 2 and all those things, so if they had run the medley I would have fallen behind, but for the medley people were not that far ahead, so I was able to close down that gap and finish out in front as well. So what happens next? So I'm just preparing for exams at this point, as well as trying to see with the schedule that might get more cluttered. Other things. But Coach Coleman is actually having some health challenges. He isn't even in the track anymore nowadays. He's having some health issues that's keeping him in hospital and off track. So I think I'll just be working by myself going forward up until he's either safe to return or I can go back to the track with him, depends on when the exam finish and all those things. And then I think I'll be working like rebuilding some of the strength I may have lost in the time in between when I was focusing on the track, in terms of like 15k and above, and then trying to rebuild that core strength which I didn't do as consistently after around February or so. So that's one thing I'm working on. And then so next thing we're just continuing on that 6,000 meters, 2 times 3,000 meters and 3 times 2,000 meters program. I think I was able to get some good results in that trial training, and if I continue with it, then can I improve that further going forward. It's just getting into the 15-minute range comfortably in training, and then what happens if either any other track runs that happen in between or the national trials, I can get into that 15-minute range. So going forward, there is actually some coach on the track. He's not an official uni coach. I think he's working with like Camperdown or some other high school, but he's always talking to me about some Puma sponsor program that they are making for distance people to work with over the summer or next year or whatever it is. So because I don't have any details, I can't say how I'll be able to work with it, but just if it can work, then I'll take whatever training and get at least official for the long distance. But until I get more details, can't say much. Just to give me the advice on running in terms of relaxing more, running on my toes, which I've actually been trying to work on, noticing that I run on my heel a lot when I'm tired. So I was able to get like 10-second moves in time just by doing that. So I can hopefully continue, but I can't do that much if you just give me the comments overall at the end, and then not really guidance on how to implement it, but I appreciate it either way, and whatever happens in terms of other races, I hope to get. So hopefully faster than the 4-month wait between the last vlog and this one. It's not that I've been so stoned to that I couldn't have recorded at any time, but in more cases I feel like I would be better off either sleeping or resting or studying instead of recording this and then edit it. But since the exams are about 1 month period, and then afterwards I should have some clarity on what's happening with the internship program, and when I'm able to train all that, I can come back and talk about plans for the following months, either until I can find another track meet that has a 500 meters or another road race, or up until the national trials. So I'll be working with that from there and see what happens.